Hey guys, Tatiana Ward here. Thank you so much for joining me. OMG, I guess I just have so much to tell you because your girl got married. Guys, you have to watch this video to the very end to see my wonderful wedding video put together by Chris Dickerson Films. Please make sure you watch to the very, very end. It's amazing and you have to see it. So I think I should start this by telling you that we were not even supposed to have a wedding. That was never the plan. Eddie and I always just intended to get married at the Justice of the Peace. He just came home. We didn't have the money for a big elaborate wedding or anything like that. Plus, he doesn't really do good with like crowds. He's a little bit of a shy person. So we figured it would just be best to do a Justice of the Peace situation. So if you don't know the backstory of my love story, I would love for you to watch this video. I'll put a link right here. It explains a lot. My longtime viewers know when I very first announced my pregnancy, I kind of didn't really talk about my relationship much until that point. And it was really, really hard. So many of my following has been with me for so long. And I just didn't know how to come to you guys and say, look, not only am I in a relationship, but I'm pregnant. And then the big, whopper was that he was incarcerated. Our situation is not your average situation. So I knew that I was putting a lot on my following to explain it and expect you guys to accept it. I never expected anybody to accept it, but I just hope that you would understand maybe or try to understand. So for those of you who've been with me since that first pregnancy announcement, oh, by the way, I'm pregnant and, the child's father is incarcerated, to get to this point is just like a dream come true. And when he'd first gone away, I made it very clear that I wasn't waiting for anybody who was not going to be my husband. And Eddie has had an incredibly difficult life that I just can't even believe what he's been through in his lifetime. And he said to me, listen, if you stick by me, I will happily marry you. And I did. What made it go from a Justice of the Peace situation to a small wedding was because we couldn't get anybody to marry us on 7/7/23. And that date was super significant to us, particularly to Eddie. Ever since I've known him, 7/7, those are his numbers, like 7/7. And it just so happened that 7/7 was also the date that he was officially free from the federal government. But when I was calling around to justices of the peace and I was saying, do you guys marry on this day? Like I called 12 different justices of the peaces in our county and like none of them would marry people on a Friday. Not particularly that day, but on a Friday, which 7/7/23 happened to be a Friday. It was like, no, we only marry people on Tuesdays. No, we only marry people on Wednesdays. So I started thinking, there's got to be some chapel that we could just get in and get out, like get married and get out, like so that we don't have to pay for a venue that we can't even fill. I'm like, Vegas can't be the only place that has chapels where you come, you get married, and you leave. So I happened upon the most adorable little chapel in Philadelphia where we live. It's called the Philadelphia Wedding Chapel. It was quaint, it was cute, it was reasonably priced. And one of the biggest things was that it's owned by a Black woman. So I was like super excited to be able to help small business, Black owned business, and certainly was helping myself because we got to keep our date and the ambiance was just better than a courthouse. So I went from saying, oh, tiny, just the peace, just you and I, to, well, now I have to have a gown. I went and I tried on about 5 dresses, sent pictures of the dresses to Eddie, and I was like, what do you think about these? I'm thinking about this one. I really liked one in particular. It was subtle. He was like, I like it, but I like that other one better. And I was like, all right, well, that'll be my dress. We did this all within we went from can't find justice of the peace to booking this chapel. It was like a month and a half before our actual wedding date. Oh, and another thing about our wedding date is that I don't really much believe in numerology, but when you add up 2023, 2023, the number is 7. So it's like triple sevens. So I was like, yeah, we really have to have that date, 777. The chapel allowed for us to have 18 guests total, just because that's the package we paid for. You could have paid for 40 people to come, but like, if I couldn't invite my entire family, I didn't want to invite any of my family. It was like immediate family. And when you're watching the video of our wedding day, you see one of my best friends, and the whole reason that I met Eddie, she lived in New York, one of my best friends, and she was like, yo, there's this apartment opening up underneath mine. Do you want to live there? And I was like, sure. I was fresh up off of a bad breakup and just wanting to change my scenery. So I was like, sure, I'll move to this part of New York where I've never been and I don't know anything about. Maybe a few days before getting the key to the apartment, she and I were on our way to a party in Brooklyn. We made a little pit stop to grab some snacks and stuff before we headed out to Brooklyn. And she hopped in the car and was like, did you see them guys over there? And I was like, which guys? And before I knew it, Eddie was at my window, and that's how we met. I wasn't even living in New York at that point. I was like just about to move there. And the rest is kind of history. But that girlfriend, Tiara Milton of She and Her Studio, she's an amazing hairstylist in New York, and she came and did my hair for my wedding. And you can see how my hair like melts because it was like 91 degrees that day. The chapel was nice and air conditioned, and then we made a reservation at this spot in the city where all of our guests could come and we could drink and eat and whatever. We walked into the building and the heat just smacked us in the face, and they're like, oh yeah, sorry, our air conditioner's been broke for a week. These people did not call us and tell us, yeah, you and your 25 or, however many guests might want to consider that we don't have working air conditioner in here. So in some of the frames, my hair goes to absolute shambles, but it was still a beautiful day nonetheless. In the video that you guys are about to watch, you get to hear my full vows to Eddie. And like I said, I fell in love with Eddie for all of the best possible reasons. And I feel like we were really blessed to go through the test that we went through. He had a debt to pay for something that he'd done before we ever even met. We are blessed to be able to have had this moment and to be husband and wife. I mean, he could have gone away for a long, long time. It was nothing but mercy. To legitimize things between us and be married is just a really good feeling for both of us. And y'all, shout out to Chris Dickerson Films. Like, again, here goes God working things out. Again, we weren't even supposed to have a wedding. It was just going to be like justice of the peace. It wasn't going to be like a big deal. I met Chris's wife because our daughters go to the same gym. They take a gym class. Like, just the sweetest girl. And we built this friendship that I really value, and our girls play together. And she told me that her husband was a videographer, and I was for months been watching his work, and he's just incredible. So to have him and her offer that to me for our wedding gift was just extraordinary. I just cannot believe how well this video came out, and it's something that I just you keep forever. Make sure that part of your budget is your videographer and that you can capture that day forever. Like, it'll live forever. But if you are in Pennsylvania in particular, Chris is located in Pennsylvania. However, he will travel tri-state area or wherever. Please look into chrisdickersonfilms.com if you have a wedding or an event that you need filmed. I would love to see his business thrive because he's just a dope human being with a dope family and just amazing people who clearly are very talented. So anyway, take a look at the extended version of our wedding day. Thank you guys so much for loving us and praying for us and congratulating us on this huge milestone. Your support and your love that you've poured into this throughout this journey is so appreciated. Eddie, I did not fall in love with your potential. I didn't fall in love with who I thought I could mold you into or what I thought you should or could become. I simply fell in love with you as you were. The remarkable joy in which you approach every single moment of every single day brought fun and lightheartedness to my oh-so-serious nature.
Tati, I wouldn't be standing here without you, without your courage and strength to stand beside me in the darkest time of my life. In the most pivotal time in my life. You show me what unconditional love is. And for that, my heart is forever yours.
My love, how do you smile so brightly with all that you've been through? How do you love our daughter so completely without ever being taught by example? These are questions I've asked myself time and time again. I didn't fall in love with your potential. I fell in love with who you are. The very big God that sent you to me has always shone within you. God and I know that I prayed and for a test to teach me unconditional love. And then he sent me you, only to take you away, so that he could mold you and refine you and make you a new man. And for those 4 years, my air was the breath that he breathed into me to keep me connected to you. His perfect plan was to give me an abundance of love that would carry me through our 4-year absence.
I'm hoping for some brighter days.
We have come together to witness and celebrate the marriage of Eddie and Tatiana. The step into marriage which they are about to take is important and significant.
It's almost like it's burning through my skin. Make myself
Through the peaks and valleys that life may bring, I will stand by your side, just as you stood by mine.
come close. 'Cause I wanna be by your side.
I promise to keep making you laugh and reminding you that there's nothing we can't get through.
Get under my skin, give me a piece of your mind. Just for a while, stay by my side.
Be your partner, your best friend, and your confidant. Tati, I'm grateful and blessed to have you in my life. I love you more than words can express, and I promise to show you that love each and every day. I love you, baby.
So stay by my side. Come close. 'Cause I wanna be by your side. Wanna be by your side. Come close. Get under my skin, give me a piece of your mind. Just for a while, stay by my side.
I asked for a test and a lesson in unconditional love. God showed me unconditional love by showing me his own love for you and I. Only mercy got us through. Only his love for you could have made you the exceptional father and partner that you are today. You were worth the wait. I'm honored to share this journey as your faithful and devoted wife. And I vow to always treat you like an answered prayer.